So when does this passion for writing start? Were you writing already, a diary, for example, or stories?
I had never written anything. It was not a childhood dream. It was not something I studied in college. I had never thought about being a writer. I'd been a lawyer for about 5 years, and I was in a courtroom one day, and I saw something that was very dramatic. I was not involved in the case. And I thought that would be a great story if you could change a few facts. And at that time, I was a young lawyer, very idealistic, in a small town in Mississippi, very much like Jake in A Time to Kill. And so I'm dreaming of the big case, the big trial with all the headlines and all the attention. And so I created this drama, this courtroom drama. And for some reason, I said, I'm going to try to write that. And so I started writing A Time to Kill when I was 30 years old, and I had never written before. And that wasn't the original title. And I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know how to write. Again, I just said, okay, I'm going to start trying to write the story a page a day, two pages a day. And after 3 years, I had 1,000 pages, and it was a mess. And I didn't know what I was doing.
Right, and I mean, many people have seen the film, have read the book. It's a story about an African-American girl, 10 years old, who's being raped.
Yeah.
And her father is taking revenge on the people who did this.
But based on a true story that happened in rural Mississippi probably 50 years ago, when two really rough, we call them rednecks, grabbed a little black girl, and they really did some horrible things to her, and tried to kill her as she survived. And her father did not seek revenge, but they were sentenced, and they didn't get many years. And the reason the story became somewhat noted was because everybody in town, the blacks and the whites, were upset at the light sentences. And so we heard that story in law school. They wanted much stiffer sentences for these guys because they deserved it. So I had that story in the back of my mind. That was the first chapter of A Time to Kill. And I said, okay, let's take it one step further. And what if that father managed to get his own retribution, his own revenge, and what would a white jury do to him for doing what they would want to do themselves? And that was A Time to Kill.